Filip Hrgovic has defeated Joyce via unanimous decision. And yes, personally, I thought it was a very close fight, but it's probably a close fight that did go to Filip Hrgovic, if I'm being completely honest with you. I think I probably was a bit biased in the time I was watching it. I think I scored it a draw, but looking back, I think probably Filip Hrgovic won a very close, tight fight. I've seen loads of people saying, oh, it was very wide. It wasn't at all. Joyce was on the front foot, landing some good shots. Joyce was the ring general for a lot of the fight. So, it wasn't wide, but Hrgovic won the fight, and it was close. Look, Hrgovic was very clearly the quicker guy. Everyone is against Joyce. He was very clearly the more powerful guy as well, though. I mean, Joyce does have power, but the thing I think that lets Joyce down is just that he is so slow. He's so ridiculously slow. But I actually was thinking early on, though, he has a little bit of a spring in his step here, though, Joyce. I don't think he was bad at all in that fight, but I don't think I want to see him fight again. I don't want to see him take more punishment, but he wasn't bad tonight at all. It was much better than how he performed against Derek Chisora, and Hrgovic is better than Derek Chisora. But yeah, I think Joyce was all right early on. Joyce's jab was very consistent and good throughout the fight. Caught Hrgovic's eye open in that very first round, and was pumping the jab out consistently. But a thing which I think did affect Joyce was cardio, and I didn't think I'd say that because Joyce is usually good at being able to keep up a good pace. But in the final few rounds of that fight, he was tripping over his feet and everything. His footwork was all over the place, Joyce's. And Hrgovic was very good at being able to catch him with some big shots. And I think it was in that ninth round where Hrgovic badly stunned and wobbled Joyce a bit in that ninth round. Joyce's legs buckled for like a few seconds. And yeah, Hrgovic was good at being able to set up that backhand. I thought early on, and mid-rounds at times, Joyce's pressure was very good, and it was good at being able to shut down Hrgovic, and Hrgovic wasn't able to get some big success because of the pressure of Joyce. And Hrgovic is very good at range where he's able to, get full extension through his shots, and that's what happened as the fight kind of went on and on and on. Hrgovic got more success behind his shots, more extension in his punches, and Joyce couldn't keep away from that right hand quite a lot. And I thought the overhand up close at times was good as well when they were on the ropes. Hrgovic was very good at, digging in with that overhand over the top. But as well, I thought Hrgovic's body work was very effective throughout the fight as well. For Joyce, his jab was good, and his best work came off behind his jab. In my opinion, Joyce's, and he was an active puncher in there. But I think, the power punches and the more effective punches very clearly came from Filip Hrgovic. But I feel like a big thing as well is that so many punches just bounce off the head of Joyce. It's like it doesn't hurt him. He just keeps coming forward, then he just lands some real slow ones upstairs, puts his combinations together real slowly. But I thought his footwork actually looked all right early on, and he was able to, have a bit of a spring in his step and looked a bit light on his feet at times. And, him fighting at 275 pounds, it clearly does benefit him. It does, and it was clear to see in that fight. But he's done, isn't he? If we're being completely honest. He wasn't bad in that fight at all. He was good. But he's done. He's not a top-level fighter. There's no point of him continuing. He's 39 years old. He's already taken too much damage. He should just stop if we're being real here. People will be like, but who are you to say a fighter should stop? Joyce should stop. Let's be real. Look at the situations he's been in. He's lost 4 out of his last 5 fights. Look at the amount of punches he takes per fight. Flush as well. He should stop boxing now. I think it's time for him to call it a day. Although he did say at the end, I'm happy to continue and all that. But no, he shouldn't continue. It's dangerous for him to go on if we're being real. If we're being real serious about it, it's dangerous for him to carry on in boxing. But yeah, I just think Hrgovic was landing the more effective and cleaner shots throughout, and Joyce lost it. I thought the lead took if Hrgovic was good, and the bodywork eventually was effective as well. Hrgovic at times backed up on the ropes and kind of lured Joyce in, landed some good shots upstairs. But yeah, I feel like 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, they were very good rounds for Filip Hrgovic. He was hurting Joyce. It was clear to see. and the odd early round here and there, Hrgovic was probably able to take as well. Yeah, I think Hrgovic just proved to be too quick in the end. The hand speed was too much, and Hrgovic's timing got better as it went on. And I thought Hrgovic would tire as it went on, but he actually seemed all right. And it was Hrgovic who took the later rounds and came on well at the end. And Joyce was the one who got tired. And I feel like that's a big sign as well. Give it up, because the pace. Joyce can't keep the same pace anymore. That's a big sign. And Joyce is a big and good thing about his game is that he's able to keep up a good pace from the very first bell to the last bell, but he couldn't do that tonight. That let him down. So that's another thing that's been declining of Joyce's. And Joyce's whole style is just based off his chin and coming forward pressure, but he was walking onto punches, and Hrgovic's timing was better and better as the fight went on, in my opinion. Hrgovic's timing, was just too good. He was just too quick and a bit unpredictable at times. But he's very sluggish as well, Hrgovic. In my opinion, he's not a world-level fighter. He's slightly below that level. He's not an elite fighter, just put it that way. He's not an elite fighter. But it was an entertaining fight. I enjoyed the fight. Joyce has some good moments. Hrgovic has some good moments. I do think people are harsh on Joyce just because he's slow. I do think he was more effective at times than what people think. I did like some of the work that he was doing. And at times, he did look like the old former Joyce. But it's not the same. He don't have the same power, and I feel like that's kind of something that's decreased as well. But he's just getting slower and slower. In ways, as the fight went on, as I said, he started all right. But yeah, look, the jab is good of Joyce. It was good early on and in the mid rounds. It was very consistent. But for rounds 6 onwards, he kind of just neglected the jab. And with Joyce, when he gets his jab going, sometimes there's no backhand really, and it's just the work just based off the jab. But sometimes when Joyce is only going in with that backhand, there's no jab. So that's something as well. And when it is the backhand of Joyce, he was opening up way too much. Joyce did most of his damage to Filip Hrgovic behind the jab, and when he neglected it, it really let him down a lot in that fight, in my opinion. But yeah, Hrgovic was good at landing some good shots on the back foot. And it did look like early on Hrgovic kind of did want the front foot and did want to be the ring general a bit. But Joyce was always going to be the ring general. Joyce had pressured too much. He just takes shots. You can't really hurt him. But eventually, Hrgovic was happy to be landing some big shots on the back foot and was kind of inviting the pressure of Joyce as the fight went on. And I think it was in the 9th and 10th round, it did look like Hrgovic was trying to take the initiative more, take the front foot more. And he was getting some real good success in the end. So, yeah, it's a shame. I do think I really wanted Joyce to win. I had a bit of money on him as well. Didn't have much, thank God for that. But, yeah. Anyway, Filip Hrgovic wins. Did what he had to do. There we go. Thanks for watching.